We're going to start to learn about an app called Google Drawings, but before we do that, we need to make sure that we have a spot to save what we're going to be working on today. So I'm in my Google Drive already, and you should be there too. And if you don't already have a folder for this class, please create one now. And you can simply do that by going up to New and choosing Folder and titling it something like this. I'm just going to call mine Computer Apps. And then open that folder up. Again, if you already have a folder for this class, you don't have to create another one. And once you're in that folder, go back up to New, hover over More, and choose Google Drawings. And that's what we're going to be working with. Let's title this drawing Practice. Please never leave your documents untitled. And let's start taking a look at what we can do with Google Drawings. Just about everything that you're going to need to know how to do with Google Drawings is going to be located in the Insert menu. And you can also do some of these things right here from these tool buttons. So I'm going to go to the Insert menu. And we're going to start with the text box. You guys know what text boxes are. Click and drag to draw your box. And then you can change your font, size, style, and some other things as well. Background color, border color, weight, and if you want your lines to be dashed or whatever. So I'm going to type in this box. And you can see I can highlight the text, change the font, make the font larger, smaller, give it a background color. You can even rotate it by clicking on this little dot here. And that's about what I can do with the text box. Also in the Insert menu, you can insert an image. And this is where you can upload an image from your saved files on your computer's hard drive. You take a snapshot. Don't forget to allow access in order for that to work. Hey, there I am. And you can also choose by URL if you know the address of a photo. You can choose something from your albums if you have photo albums. Google Drive, which is where most of your photos are going to be, things that were shared with you, or you can simply go to Recent. Now, I am going to search, last option here, and I'm going to search for, as I often do, dog. And this fine dog here, which, oh, by the way, does give you the URL right away when you search. So go ahead and select my dog here. Cover up that guy. Much better. And of course, you can do the same things that you can with text boxes. You can resize the text box. You can move. You can rotate, just like you can with an image here. When you're resizing, please always use the corner handles. Otherwise, you'll mess up the proportions of your image. You can also add a border color around your images. Change the size of the border, give it a dash, and so on. Now, also when you're inserting images, notice that there's this option down here. After you search, you have this any type. You can also search by color. I just want pictures of dogs that are primarily red or yellow or green. Now, that might confuse you a little bit because you're like, these dogs are not green. Well, the primary color of the image is. I'm going to go back to all colors here. But I can search for just faces of dogs, just photos of dogs, just clip art or illustrations of dogs, which is what we're going to want for our next project, or just drawings. Line drawings mostly are going to be just black and white drawings. So I'm going to go ahead and insert some clip art of a dog as well. Go ahead and choose this guy here. And again, of course, I can resize, I can rotate, and so on. Also in the insert menu is word art. I'm going to skip over chart because we don't really use that. Word art is fancier text. Okay, so once I have my word art, yeah, I can change the font and I can change the color and I can give it a border, just like all my other tools. Can't do that with regular text. So word art is good for titling documents and for creating labels and so on. You'll use word art quite a bit in our next project. And you could rotate that as well. Next is line, and you can figure out what line, arrow, connectors, what those do on your own. But I want to show you the last two tools here, Polyline and Scribble. Start with Polyline. Polyline, your cursor changes to a crosshair, and you can just start clicking, and every time you click, it creates an angle. And if you stop where you started, it creates a complete shape. And then you can, of course, color in that shape, give it a border, change the thickness of the border, and so on. What you can't do with Polyline is start. So click, 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 and then decide, you know what, I'm done, but change your mind, and maybe you want to go back and add to that and try to turn this into a rectangle. Well, it's not going to work. So if I try to color this in now, that is not what I was looking for, because they're two separate sets of lines. If I want to draw a rectangle, I've got to draw that rectangle all at once. So insert line, Polyline, and there you go. And now I've got a complete shape. Now I can color that in. While you're drawing with the Polyline, in order to get it to stop, so if I just keep going here, it's just going to keep drawing. If you double click, it'll stop drawing. The other option there under line is Scribble. And Scribble, you just click and you hold your mouse in, and it allows you to just draw, just like if you were drawing with a pencil or a pen. And again, if you close the shape, as I just did, I can then color that in. Well, this is embarrassing. No, you can't color in a scribble, even if you close the shape. You can color in a polyline, but not a scribble. And that's something important that you should know. You can give your scribble a border color, but you can't color it in, even if you connect the shape. Last thing in the insert menu is shapes, and there's a whole bunch of them to choose from in different categories. So I'm going to just go with a plain old circle here. Now, if I click and draw a circle, notice that, well, it's not always a circle. But if I hold Shift key in when I'm drawing the circle, it'll give me an actual circle. And then, of course, I can color that in and so on. Now, once you have all of your objects that you've inserted, you may want to format them. So when you have something selected and you go to the Format menu, you can make some changes. Some of those you can do up here on these buttons. Like, for example, I can change a shape. So if I don't want this circle anymore, I can change it to something else, but it keeps the same size and also the same attributes and same color. But if I don't like that this circle is on top of this dog, no big deal. I can move it around, and I'm going to do that in the Arrange menu. I'm going to choose Order, and notice that there's a keyboard shortcut for this, or I can just choose Send Backward, and I'm going to do that as many times as I need to until the circle is now behind the dog. And now I can take the dog, and the circle's behind it. Maybe I want the dog to be on top of the word fancy. So I click on the dog, go to the Arrange menu, choose Order, and choose Bring to Front. And that's going to automatically put the dog on top of the word fancy with just one click. And that just worked out perfectly, that the ear kind of matches up with the letter C there. That was not on purpose, I promise. Once you have all of your objects connected the way you want, you can then group them together. And there's a few ways you can do this. You can click and drag starting on empty space. So I'm going to go in this area over the screen side and click and drag and touch all the objects you want to be connected. Then go back to the Arrange menu and choose Group. And now this is one connected group that I can move around, resize, or even delete. Undo. Okay, got it back. And then in the Arrange menu, you can see that you can also ungroup. So if I click on it again, choose ungroup, now they're separate objects again. It's like so. So hopefully you've been following along and using all of these tools on your own as well. But now what I want to do is take what I've created. I'm going to go to the File menu. And of course, there's no save option, but there is an option to download as. Now, this particular document you can't view anywhere other than Google Drawings. So if you want to insert something that you create in Google Drawings into an app, or just want to share it, go to the File menu and you choose Download As. And in this case, we're going to choose a PNG image. So I go File, Download As, PNG, and now it's going to save this. Now, I'm on a regular laptop. You're on your Chromebook, so it's not going to look exactly the same here. But when I click on this, this is now a flat image that I can then share or add to another app. So play around with Google Drawings, try out all the different tools, and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be around to assist. Once you're done with that, show me your practice file that you've used all the different tools, and you'll be able to move on to the next task.